the tons and tons of water treatment processes, and more of them coming out every year. And some of these are clean water technologies that Ontario will be trying to sell to the rest of the world. And I can go into details. This is where you need the calculus. This is where you need the chemistry, you need the physics, you need to understand what's going on. You need the thermodynamics in order to come up. Water treatment process is essentially separating whatever you don't want in water from the clean part, the clean water. Okay? So it's a mass transfer operation. It's distillation, it's thermodynamics, it's mass transfer. And it's also heat transfer, because some of these processes require energy. Okay? So pay attention to your classes. You do need to stick your head out of the silo from time to time, but that doesn't mean you can't ignore the technical part of it. So, but with all those processes, so would you think of something like this? This is life straw, so which had been developed. This thing's supposedly cost about $2, and you're supposed to be able to just stick it into contaminated water and drink. And what comes out, what these kids are sucking up, is supposed to be clean water. But not expensive, unless your family income is $2 a day. And also, if your family income is $2 a day, how long would you use that cartridge for? And how would you know when it's not working anymore, when all the activated charcoal has been saturated? So there are all kinds of issues besides just the technical issues. I'll give you an example. I like this case a lot because it was an example of a very, very simple solution, which was very, very sustainable as well. So this was work, Rita Colwell was the lead author on this particular paper. And it's actually an actual case from Bangladesh. And she's a very highly decorated scientist. She won the National Medal of Science in 2006 in the US, was actually the director of the National Science Foundation as well. So she did this study with some Bangladesh colleagues in Bangladesh from 1999 to 2002. And the issue was to remove cholera from the clean water, from their water source. And if you haven't, I tend to advocate people to read books. This is a famous book by a Nobel-winning literature writer, it's a fiction writer, about cholera. It's not that scientific, but it has nothing to do with engineering, but it really gives you a vivid sense of what cholera can do to a city. And it's a completely waterborne disease. And this, on the right side there, that's the cholera bacteria. And it naturally occurs in water, 5.5 million cases a year. The bacteria itself is pretty small, about 1 to 5 microns in size, as shape. But the thing is, it feeds on plankton. And plankton is a lot bigger. And so the cholera bacteria actually resides in and on plankton. And you can predict when cholera outbreak is going to be intense based on plankton blooms. So in Bangladesh, cholera is intense in the spring, it's very intense in the fall, and after the monsoon seasons. And so there's also the fear that warmer waters, because of climate change, is going to lead to more outbreaks of cholera in the future. So what Rita Colwell did, okay, so this is a little bit of background information about Bangladesh. It's a community called MATLAB. I'm not sure who came up with the name first. But it's a community of about 150 villages. It's a region of about 150 villages. People use household water, but their source for water is untreated pond water or river water, which has arsenic in it, and it also has lots of microbiological contaminants. But interestingly, the social situation is such that boiling water is not accepted. People just don't boil water. They're not used to doing it. And plus, there's no naturally available wood, no naturally available fuel. So they got to go and buy fuel, and nobody's going to do that when they barely have no money for food. And also, a big fraction of the year is monsoon season. And during monsoon season, they're really stressed, just in terms of basic livelihood. Nobody takes the time to boil water. And there's also just a belief that natural and treated water is better. And very interesting, sari, which is this old cloth, is already used by them to filter home prepared drinks. So Colwell did a study where they just looked at the sari. Okay, this is a little bit of science, electron microscopy. Brand new sari, and the mesh size is about 150 microns. Old sari, because the fibers are now a little bit frayed, the mesh size is smaller. Plus, if you fold it over 4 to 8 times, the mesh size is now down to 20 microns. Okay, it's now down to 20 microns, which is a good size for filtering out plankton, and therefore removing cholera. They were told about this, and they were held responsible for filtering the water. Okay? And the result was that the SARI group had 44% less cholera cases than the control group. Still not 100%, but a huge improvement. And 4 months after introduction, 90% of the population had accepted this as a day-to-day practice. So that's a sustainable solution. But the reason it's sustainable is because it incorporated the local customs. It took advantage of the fact that people already use sari cloth to filter. It also took advantage of the fact that the old sari cloth was free. And that's a huge factor for very poor communities. So I have to point out to you, it's still based on science. You can't get rid of that, and it's still good to have the technical basis, but there's a lot more to it. As Mike was saying, it's not just what we do when we solve calculus problems. Engineering isn't just about problem sets. It's about how you use it, how you go from that lab or your problem set solution to where it's going to benefit someone. So finally, to conclude, I talked about opportunities, talked about challenges, responsibilities, and the message to you is that is to be prepared. Okay, that your future is global.